Thank you for watching Black Catholic Facts 3, Famous Black Catholics. This video is brought to you by popular demand. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments what other topics you would like me to explore on my channel. I've compiled a list of 13 famous Black Catholics that I'm excited to share with you. Toni Morrison is one of the most well-known and respected Black Catholics who made a tremendous impact on the literary world and Black culture in general. Born as Chloe Ardelia Wofford, when she was 12 years old, she converted to Catholicism and was baptized under the name Anthony after Saint Anthony of Padua. She later went by the nickname Toni after this saint. She was an award-winning author, professor, and speaker who earned her bachelor's degree from Howard University and her master's degree from Cornell University. Her first novel, The Bluest Eye, was published when she was 39 years old. Over the course of her life, Toni Morrison wrote 11 novels, 2 plays, 9 nonfiction publications, poems, essays, children's books, and much more. She was the first African American woman author to win the Pulitzer Prize for her novel Beloved. In the documentary about her life and work, Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am, Morrison describes that she once saw a ghost, which served as inspiration for one of her most acclaimed novels, Beloved. The late Kobe Bryant is arguably the most famous Black Catholic athlete. Bryant, a husband, father of 4, retired NBA player, author, and Oscar winner, was a committed Catholic who loved his family and loved his faith. Bryant was raised a Catholic and as a youth lived for a while in Italy. He and his wife Vanessa married at St. Edward Catholic Church in Dana Point, California, and raised their children Catholic. Bishop Timothy Freyer of the Diocese of Orange described Bryant in a Facebook post after his tragic death. Quote, "A longtime Orange County resident and parishioner in our diocese, Kobe would frequently attend Mass and sit in the back of the church so that his presence would not distract people from focusing on Christ's presence. It is reported that Kobe and his family attended a 7 a.m. Sunday Mass just a couple of hours before the helicopter crash that killed him, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 other people." Amanda Gorman became one of the most popular Black Catholics after the performance of her poem, The Hill We Climb, at the inauguration of Joe Biden and the recitation of her poem at the Super Bowl. Amanda Gorman, the youngest inaugural poet in U.S. history, grew up singing in the youth choir and received the sacraments at St. Bridget, a historically Black Catholic church in South Central Los Angeles. St. Bridget is an Afrocentric Catholic church in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles that's overseen by the Josephites, a religious community of Catholic priests and brothers that centers its ministry in African American communities. The Josephites formed in 1871 to meet the needs of newly freed people after the Civil War. Gorman has gone on to grace the cover of Vogue magazine, and a jacketed hardcover edition of her stirring presidential inaugural poem, featuring a foreword by Oprah Winfrey, debuted at number 1 on the New York Times Adult Fiction and USA Today, with the highest week 1 sales of any poetry book ever published. Simone Biles is one of the most talked about Black Catholic gymnasts. After the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, Biles has won a combined 32 world and Olympic medals, which make her the most decorated American gymnast of all time, and she is tied for the most Olympic medals for an American gymnast. In her autobiography, Courage to Soar, Biles talks about the importance of her Catholic faith among many other topics. At her confirmation, she chose Saint Sebastian as her patron saint, who is often invoked for intercession by athletes recovering from an injury. The church has helped Simone through many trials, and her favorite hymn is Here I Am, Lord. Dominique Dawes is another Black Catholic gymnast who is a three-time Olympian and Olympic gold medalist. One of the 7 gymnasts known as the Magnificent Seven, she was on the first U.S. women's team to win gold. Dawes had a close relationship with Jesus Christ growing up and leaned on that relationship during the stress and trials of her gymnastics career. Dawes retired from gymnastics in 2000 and began to feel drawn to the Catholic Church. After completing RCIA classes, Dawes became Catholic in 2013. She married a Catholic school teacher and they have 4 children. Dawes later discovered that her grandmother, who was full Piscataway County Native American, was Catholic and named after Saint Cateri Tekakwitha, the first Native American saint. Dawes believes that her grandmother guided Dawes to her Catholic faith. Another well-known Black Catholic athlete is Pascal Siakam. Siakam was propelled to the global spotlight in 2019 when his team, the Toronto Raptors, won the NBA championship. Before his games, Siakam would make the sign of the cross and then point upward to the sky in remembrance of his deceased father. A native of Cameroon, Siakam entered the seminary at age 11. When the seminary director was later interviewed about Siakam, he stated, quote, "I knew we would probably not be able to train him to be a priest, but I still hoped we could teach him to be a man." Though Siakam discerned that the priesthood was not for him, he told ESPN that seminary was, quote, "one of the best things that ever happened to him." Vanessa Williams is a Black Catholic actress, singer, model, and mom. She was raised Catholic, raised her 4 children Catholic, married her 3rd husband in a Catholic ceremony, and continues to practice her faith. Williams was the first African American to win the Miss America crown, but she had to relinquish it after a scandal broke. She has earned Grammy, Emmy, and Tony nominations, as well as won 7 NAACP awards, and she has acted in television shows Ugly Betty and Desperate Housewives. Williams is also a fan of the current Pope, stating, quote, "Pope Francis is a rock star. He's a global messenger who calls it like he sees it, and I love his courage, and I want to meet him one day." Another Black Catholic recording artist is the late jazz singer Billie Holiday, born Eleanor Fagan. Experiencing many hardships and trauma as a child, Holiday was sent as a young girl to the House of the Good Shepherd for Colored Girls, which was a Catholic reform school where she was taught the rubrics of the Catholic faith, Gregorian chant, and liturgical voice. Though an extremely gifted artist, Holiday suffered from drug addiction and spent time in and out of prison. She was targeted by the U.S. Treasury Department's Federal Bureau of Narcotics for performing her anti-lynching song, Strange Fruit, which depicted the horrors of Jim Crow violence. Biographers of Holiday have said her fondest wish was to have kids, open a home for orphan children, and have her own supper club where she could feed people and sing. That did not happen. Holiday died of a pulmonary edema and heart failure caused by cirrhosis of the liver on July 17, 1959, at the age of 44. She was given the last rites. Her funeral was a Requiem High Mass at St. Paul the Apostle Church in Manhattan, attended by more than 3,000 people, and with no music other than the unaccompanied Latin chants of a 10-voice Catholic choir. The late Mary Lou Williams, born Mary Elfreda Scruggs, is another well-known Black Catholic jazz musician. Williams began her career as a child prodigy in Pittsburgh and became a seminal jazz figure in Kansas City in her early 20s. After becoming disillusioned with jazz and suffering a breakdown in Paris in 1954, Williams returned to New York. After a friend encouraged her to pray and read the Psalms, Williams opened her heart to God. She wandered into Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church and became enamored with the silence and closeness to God she felt in prayer there. She joined the Catholic Church in 1957 and went on to teach jazz at a Catholic school and composed jazz music for Mass. In the 1960s and 70s, she composed a number of liturgical pieces for jazz ensembles, including Black Christ of the Andes, a cantata, Mass for the Lenten season, and Music for Peace, popularly known as Mary Lou's Mass. She famously performed Mary Lou's Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral. In 1970, she also recorded a comprehensive performance lecture entitled The History of Jazz. 5 years later, she was appointed to the faculty of the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and in 1977 to the faculty at Duke University. Throughout her career, she wrote hundreds of compositions and arrangements and recorded more than 100 records. Aaron Neville's Catholic faith was passed down to him and his brothers by his mother. They attended St. Monica's Catholic School in New Orleans, Louisiana. In addition to learning the catechism, Neville also learned racial tolerance from the white sisters who taught in the all-black school in spite of the racism they faced in the 1940s and 50s. Neville was also introduced to the song Ave Maria, which struck a chord with him and was a refuge during tumultuous times in his life. Though he married at the age of 17, he left his wife and child to pursue a music career in Los Angeles. While there, Neville began abusing heroin and committing burglaries to support his habit. He was eventually arrested and released on bond. Back home, Neville's mom and wife were praying novenas to St. Jude, patron saint of hopeless causes, requesting the saint intercede on Neville's behalf. Neville returned home to await his sentencing and constantly asked for St. Jude's intercession, promising to amend his life. The judge in Los Angeles ended up sentencing Neville to 1 year in custody, which he spent fighting forest fires. After serving his time, Neville returned to New Orleans. Eventually, he signed with a new local fledgling record label and recorded the song Tell It Like It Is that thrust him to the top of the charts in 1967. Due to a poor contract, Neville did not receive much profit and worked as a longshoreman. He began abusing heroin again, and his life spiraled out of control. Wandering the streets in search of his next hit, Neville would sing Ave Maria to himself. He began singing with his brothers, and they signed a contract as the Neville Brothers. Through the grace of God and the intercession of the Blessed Mother, Neville was able to break his heroin addiction and never go back. His solo career took off, and he won his first Grammy for the duet Don't Know Much, which he sang with Linda Ronstadt. Neville went on to be nominated for 13 Grammys and won 4 of the awards. His Catholic faith is an integral part of his life, and Neville continues to speak about its impact on his various social media platforms. Master P, born Percy Miller, also grew up attending St. Monica Church in New Orleans, where he served as an altar server. In 1999, Master P quietly donated $500,000 to save St. Monica and 2 neighboring churches in New Orleans. Master P was propelled to stardom in the 1990s as a rapper and founder of No Limit Records, which is one of the biggest independent record labels of all times. He sold over 75 million records. Master P is also an actor, entrepreneur, producer, filmmaker, and father of 9 who raised his children in the Catholic faith. One of his children, Percy Romeo Miller, Jr., known as Little Romeo and now just Romeo, followed his father's footsteps as a singer and rapper who is the youngest musician to hold the #1 slot on the Billboard 200 list with his song My Baby. In addition to his career as a recording artist, Romeo has also had roles in television and the movie Honey. Father and son, along with 4 other children, starred in the reality show Masterpiece Family Empire in 2015. Romeo subsequently starred in the reality show Growing Up Hip Hop. Both Master P and Little Romeo are open about the importance of their Catholic faith and relationship with God. In 2020, they were both spotted at the Faith-Based Movie Guide Awards speaking on their two faith-based films titled God is Real and Can You Hear the Lamb? Cardi B is a Grammy-winning, chart-topping reality TV star and at times controversial Black Catholic hip-hop artist. Though Cardi has famously had social media run-ins with conservative commentator Candace Owens over her overtly sexual lyrics and performances, Cardi maintains that her Catholic faith is an integral part of who she is. Her parents are both immigrants to the United States, as her mother is from Trinidad and her father is from the Dominican Republic. Cardi B was raised Catholic and is still a member of the Catholic Church to this day. When news of Cardi B's secret marriage to rapper Offset broke, Cardi B tweeted, "At least you can stop saying I had a baby out of wedlock." Pictures Cardi has posted of her daughter Culture on Instagram have also led to speculation that Cardi B has baptized her daughter in the Catholic faith. Thank you for watching Black Catholic Facts Episode 3. I hope the witness of the famous Black Catholics I've talked about has been inspirational. For more Black Catholic content, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and share.